I notice none of the left is picking up on this. So I'm going to call it out. They said, oh man, Trump just won in the Supreme Court 6-3. Then they didn't say anything else with context. I'm not saying everybody did, but I am attacking and calling out the people who just report the news and they don't report any context and give no opinion or perspective. So basically, he did win a temporary ban on trans in military 6-3, but the major thing that happens here is that he's fighting in lower courts to make it permanent. So it ain't permanent. Here's the thing they're missing. So far, he's 4-61. So in the last 16 weeks, with all these judgments and out-of-court settlements, he basically is 93% failing. So while they're giving you how horrible it is that he won the Supreme Court, they didn't give you the 93% failing. And here's the other thing. I want to climb inside their ass and pull out their heart and see how it beats. Weeks ago, he won another court case, the Alien Enemies Act case. And I said, wait a minute, nobody is telling them what the real facts is, which is the Supreme Court said, we got one thing you got to do. You got to put in habeas corpus. You got to make sure you're doing due process. It's a setup. They don't do due process. Why? Because they're incompetent. Why? Because they got 93 failures. So what happened? After a couple of weeks, 2 weeks later, the Supreme Court said we're suspending it because you got a bunch of people in a bus in Texas and we feel like you are going to cross the border like we told you not to. And the ACLU said, yep, that's what we were telling you. And now we have a case of the trans where they can't get into the military, they're being blocked. But it's not all doomed because 93% failure rate. And remember why he's trying to get appeals. He lost the first time. Why? Because the incompetent DOJ presented statistics and studies saying it proves that the trans are not good troops. Here's the problem. The judge told him to remove it because it actually proved they were good troops. And they are good troops. And they ended up losing that case. And Hegseth was so embarrassed because they were trying to do it on behalf of the Department of Defense, DOD. The DOJ failed them yet again. I know there's got to be a lot of back talk about Pam Bondi. She ain't skipping this easy because she's got a horrible failure rate. So when we look at this current case, even though he won the temporary ban, where's the discussion about our chances of winning the actual cases? Because so far, they've already lost in a lower court. And remember, I have something called the Trump failing formula I teach on the back end of my Clarity group. You know how to reach me, DM me, or go to DarrenMonroe.com and email me. You could really skip that line then. All you got to do is go there. Here's the thing. There is a process, a playbook to him. He breaks the law, go in the lower courts, loses appeal court, Supreme Court. But he has a 93% failure rate. He is 4-61. Why are you not reporting that on the left? Why are you just leaving it as, oh, he won, too bad? That's what I got a problem with. That right there. That right there. That right there. Subscribe to me. Have I earned your subscription? Subscribe to me.